Matthew, Jayden Maiava had his first start this last weekend against Nebraska for USC. He was sensational. Let's talk about it after the stinger. It's Felix Sharpe and Matt Bruening for CampusToCanton.com. I hope you like what we're doing to try to push the college fantasy football format, specifically Campus to Canton leagues that incorporate both college and NFL players. I'll put more information about what a Campus to Canton league is in the description box. Go ahead and click that link if you want some more information. Matthew, Jayden Maiava this past weekend got Nebraska, got his first start. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Who should you trade for? My guy, the cover of the video was Jayden Maiava. I have maintained that despite being a backup, that he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He looked like it yesterday against Nebraska, 25 for 35, 259 yards, 3 touchdowns to one interception. He had 20 yards on the ground also. He's a playmaker in the form of, like Caleb Williams very much. It just so happens that Deuce Robinson also had his best game of his career, actually, with Jayden Maiava at the helm. What are the implications, do you think, for Jayden Maiava playing as well as he did in his first start for USC?
I mean, it's massive, and it's something we have talked about a lot. So if you're just coming across the channel, check it out. Chris Moxley, who usually does the Campus to Canton live show with us, as you can see on the graphic there at 9 p.m.-ish with Felix Sharpe, Austin Nason, myself. We've been talking about Maiava since he entered the portal from UNLV, who had a good year as a true freshman with UNLV, 63% completion percentage, 3,000 yards passing, 17 touchdowns. And for those of you who may not remember, was actually at one point committed to Georgia. Like, that's how highly these teams thought about this kid. Was committed to Georgia, then ends up decommitting in the transfer portal and going to USC, and we talked about it. In my opinion, he is the mold of quarterback that has succeeded with Lincoln Riley throughout his career. He's just much more mobile. And it even just talk about the rushing side of things, just the ability to buy time for your wide receivers and throw the ball down the field. We've seen throughout most of Lincoln Riley's tenure at USC, they have had a poor offensive line. And that is what Caleb Williams really struggled with at times, but again, was able to buy that time and get the ball down the field. We saw that out of Jayden in that Nebraska game, because in my opinion, the offensive play calling didn't change much between him and Miller Moss. It was just Jayden was able to buy that time and then find his players down the field. You mentioned Deuce Robinson. We also saw Zachariah Branches, one of his better games of his career as well, who is a very good athlete, a freakish athlete, to say the least, playing in the slot and has actually been playing a ton there. We saw at UNLV, the slot wide receiver Jacob DeJesus had an incredible year when Maiava was playing quarterback for them. So I expect Zachariah Branch to continue playing as well. What I like even more about Maiava, we're going to get a much larger sample size of him, likely plays out the rest of the season. USC likely makes a bowl game, so we'll get to see him there. And for those of you who are maybe catching this video after the fact, Houston Longstreet, a very highly rated quarterback in the recruiting class, just flipped to USC. Maiava will be a junior going into next year. I don't think Longstreet competes with him for that job, so we should hopefully get him a whole year there. You've been saying for months upon months that he's an NFL-type quarterback, so then you get Longstreet a year to sit as well to learn from Maiava and this offense. I think he's going to be a guy who should shoot up rankings if people don't have him already. I know you and myself already had him fairly high. Maybe some of those other non-believers at this company who didn't want to commit to him will bump him up their rankings now after what they saw what he did against Nebraska.
And it's not like they played against San Jose State or something like that. They played against Nebraska. That's a Big Ten matchup there, good defense, and he played as well as he did. Mind you, this is his first start at this level. I was looking at my rankings. I've had him top 40 the entire time, including the time he was at the backup. I have him at 31 now. That's probably a good range. I'll probably move him up a little bit. Do you know where you have him ranked?
I have him at 38 right now. Or I'm sorry, 36, right by Garrett Green, Caden Salter, and Thomas Castellanos. He will jump up, and in me looking at my rankings, probably up to the 20 range. I'll jump him above Avery Johnson, Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel are right in that range. I mean, I think at this point, right around Josh Hoover, I feel like that's a fair ranking for him, is probably where I will jump him up to after this video.
If there was ever a case for like why to play in Campus to Canton leagues, it's the discovery of players like Jayden Maiava, getting them on their roster, kind of sitting through the stress of them not starting, then finally getting on the field and performing like you thought they would. I mean, we're going to see Maiava's value here in the last a couple of weeks of the season just go skyrocket. Just absolutely skyrocket if he continues to play well. I have him at 31 now, Matthew, but going into 2025, he's probably going to be locked into the top 15, and he has 2 more years to develop into a high-level player. Hey, a guy that used all of their eligibility, how about Cam Ward, who's going to probably be the number 1 overall pick? As a matter of fact, Jayden Maiava's game compares very favorably to Cam Ward. He probably has a little bit better of an arm, more willing to run. Cam Ward kind of scrambles to throw more so, but I think Ward is a really good comp for what Maiava could be.
Yeah, I mean, our comps in the system have him close to players like Joe Burrow. His arm velo is higher than Cam Ward's. Cam Ward's comes in at a 54. Jayden Maiava's is at 56. Some of the top comps for him, some people may shake their head at Sam Darnold and Hendon Hooker, but again, both very good athletes. But the high-end ones, Alex Smith and Joe Burrow. I think, Maiava, because of his stronger arm, could definitely develop into possibly a better player than Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward's a little bit slipperier in the backfield than what we've seen so far out of Jayden, but again, small sample size. We've only seen him start the 1 game against Nebraska.
Jayden Maiava, let us know what your thoughts are about his performance against Nebraska, about his potential for the future. What's going to happen in that backfield? Miller Moss, I think Miller Moss has some eligibility left. Let us know your thoughts. Like the video. Let's get this to 50. Come on, USC fans. Let's get this to 50 likes. All right, y'all. Peace.